The Howard Stern Show.
When you were with the Cincinnati Reds, what, 1971?
71, 2, and 3.
Okay. You get it? That's a big job. You're the announcer for the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
And Pete Rose is there.
He's there. Good friend.
And you write in your new book that Pete Rose was like kind of out of control with gambling back then. Like you were kind of shocked to see that he was gambling on everything from Highlight to what else was he gambling on?
Well, one day at spring training, he took some batting practice. We had a day off, so we get in the car and we go to the horse track and we go to the tire card. Then we get in the car and we go to the Greyhound track and we have dinner there. And
oh my goodness!
So, and
that's degenerate gambling, isn't it?
Well, I guess. But then on the way back into Tampa from St. Petersburg, we're going across the Gandy Bridge, and what's there? The Highlight fronton. And at 11 o'clock, they had a late double, so we went in for the last two games.
Were you a big gambler? Did you have a gambling problem?
I had zero gambling problem, but I kind of I love the action.
Right.
And to this day, I mean, I love day trading, and I follow all of this stuff.
Do you still love going to the track?
I like going to the track. I don't love going to the track.
But you put a couple of dollars down. It's not like you don't play the big money.
No, you're exactly right, Howard. I've never spent a dime that I really needed. It's always over here. Same thing with day trading.
When you go
what's
with
the
Pete,
biggest bet?
When you go with Pete Rose, when you go with Pete Rose to the track, do you have some peer pressure, like Robin said, to make a big bet? Like in other words, because he's probably betting big, right?
He was making a lot more money than I was at that point, so he could bet bigger than I did.
Did you think to yourself, "Wow, this guy, it's Pete Rose. Maybe I ought to tell him to slow down." I mean, not that it's your place, but were you shocked by the amount of? From Highlight and Dog Track, you think you'd get it out of your system at some point in the day?
Pete needed action.
Right.
24 hours a day.
He was an adrenaline junkie.
He was an adrenaline junkie. He was my favorite athlete to ever cover. And the reason was he was balls out all day long. 24/7. Pete Rose would play a spring training game the same way he played the 7th game of the World Series.
Right.
He gave the fans their money's worth.
And that's something to be admired, right? Because
loved it.
Yeah, there are guys who go out there and you can tell because you're a professional at looking at athletes. Some of the guys slack off, right? I mean, they're not playing.
It in.
They're mailing
of course.
it in.
Yeah, you play 162 games and all the spring training games. At a certain point, you need you can't blame a guy for coming in, and if you don't feel real good one day, you're going to have an off day. But with Pete, I used to go by his locker when I'd go to the game just to feel the energy field and the buzz that would emanate from Pete.
And, when you think about it, are you still friends with Pete Rose?
I see Pete. I don't, I'm friends with him, but I'm not to the
close.
extent I see. I just don't see Pete very often.
Is the scandal the kind of thing that ruins it? You can't be around a guy who has scandal.
No, I feel. You know what I feel, Howard? Sad. This guy was one of the greatest players in history. He should have been in the Hall of Fame, first ballot, unanimous. And then all of this happened, and so now his whole career is tarnished by the incident, and it was a bad thing.
All of his off-field antics. Yeah,
it was a bad thing.
He did a bad thing.
Yeah.
You don't gamble on. You walk into a clubhouse and there's a big sign. You don't do this.
Right.
And Pete did it, and then he lied about it, and then he couldn't bring himself to apologize for it, and it just mushroomed, and here we are to this day. I mean, in my mind, he's in the Hall of Fame. People say, should he be in? I don't. I think he should be in, but in my mind, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it is sad to see somebody who has accomplished so much, and then to have at the end have it kind of wrecked. It is sad.
It is because he was one of a kind.
The Howard Stern Show.